What's up, you guys? It's your boy Trippy, and Leon Edwards is fighting this weekend, you guys. Okay, so let me try that again. Leon Edwards is fighting Belal Muhammad this weekend, you guys. All right, I give up. Okay, so all jokes aside, Leon Edwards will be facing Belal Muhammad this weekend, and I had to give my thoughts and analysis on this fight because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I honestly forgot that they were fighting this weekend. I honestly forgot. I forgot myself. So I can't really hate on you guys for not giving Leon Edwards the honest respect that he deserves. But there's a little bit of a problem with Leon Edwards. I mean, he's in the top 5 and he's fighting a guy who is just as under the radar as he is. So safe to say there won't be a ton of eyes watching this one. It's free, and they're smart making Leon Edwards a main event for a fight night because, dude, no one's buying a pay-per-view for Leon Edwards. I don't even think the British fans are going to buy a pay-per-view for Leon Edwards, There's so many fighters that come out of England that, honestly, that have captivated the English crowd just as well as the American fans. You got Michael Bisping, you got Darren Till, and you got even the boxers, Tyson Fury. You got all those guys that come over from England, and, they all have something about them. Anthony Joshua as well. I can't forget about Anthony Joshua, but they all have this thing about them, this flair about them, that they can put on a show. Although they might not have the most exciting bouts, they can still put on a show and give fans the intrigue that they need to invest money into their fights. So that's the topic of this video. The Leon Edwards problem. So, Leon Edwards, the UFC doesn't push or promote Leon Edwards like they would do a Colby Covington, or I'm not going to say a Conor McGregor or a Chael Sonnen because those guys are just marketing machines right there. But like a Ben Askren when he was in the UFC, a Colby Covington, or Jorge Masvidal, a Nate Diaz. They don't push Leon Edwards anywhere near. Shoot, even Kamaru Usman, who's probably just as boring, has just as boring of a style as Leon Edwards. They can push these guys because they have. Though Kamaru Usman may have the personality of a shoe, when you're comparing it to Leon Edwards probably has the personality of a bowl of grits. Not seasoned, no butter, no nothing. A bowl of plain old grits or a bowl of dry oatmeal. Though, don't get me wrong, my man has been getting on the mic more and been talking some trash to some of these fighters. It's not enough to cover up his extremely boring fighting style. Leon Edwards is a striker by trade, but he's also a grappler or a striker. Let me rephrase that. He is a striker that tries grappling. He tries to grapple, and the guy actually can put in some work in the clinch. He has these razor sharp, great elbows, which is by far his most impressive trait. He has great kicks, but his elbows are lethal. But his kicks are very flashy. They're pretty, they're flashy, impressive. I couldn't do it. But he also has decent hands. But he also goes for clinch work. And now he's even trying to show his efforts on the ground. The Belal Muhammad fight was a replacement for Khamzat Chimaev, who shockingly retired out of nowhere. Though I do feel like he will be back. This is a fight that, once they announced Belal Muhammad as the replacement for Leon Edwards, had a lot of fans probably go, Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and skip this pay-per-view, or it's not pay-per-view, but skip this fight tonight, and, I might just go bowling or watch movies with my mom this weekend. Basically what I'm saying is a lot of people are not going to watch this main event because they are expecting what we're all expecting. But does Leon Edwards deserve the promotion from the UFC? Yes, but the UFC doesn't promote him because of his style, the way he fights. He's very inactive. He's a striker by trade, like I said, but he's very, very inactive on the feet. And, for a guy who's striker by trade, you think of a guy like Israel Adesanya. who's had some boring fights and had a lot of fans roll their eyes at him for these boring fights. His last fight was pretty boring against Jan Blachowicz, if you ask me. But Israel Adesanya has the flair, and half of his fights on his track record aren't boring. Leon Edwards is a decision machine. Israel Adesanya can finish fights. I'm only bringing up Israel Adesanya because I've seen comparisons from Leon Edwards to Israel Adesanya, and I don't think that they're similar at all. Israel Adesanya is by far, though he's had some boring fights, by far more exciting than Leon Edwards. Only because he has this flair to him. The guy can dance. The guy can talk some trash on the mic, though it's corny at times. Dude, even if it's corny, he's talking trash and making it interesting. Leon Edwards has been trying, don't get me wrong, but it's very bland and just very, unimpressive. It's not witty. It's just a little, like a bowl of oatmeal with just plain bowl of dry oats. No sugar, no nothing, no none of that. That's just kind of how he seems. But, enough trash talking Leon Edwards. I know a lot of people are going to ask, stop. Why are you downing Leon Edwards? Is he a good fighter? Leon Edwards is an outstanding fighter. He is an outstanding talent. He just plays it safe. Really safe. He plays it really safe. That's why his fights are very boring. Now, you're going to ask, Trippy, is that a dumb way of fighting, though? He's not throwing caution to the wind. He's not going to do that at all, and that is smart fighting. He is a very smart fighter for that. That's why, though, he has this many decisions on his record. His win streak has mostly been decisions. Matter of fact, I think it's all been decisions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think. And the person he's fighting in this main event is just as under the radar as he is. I can honestly make a solid argument that Leon Edwards is probably just as known to the MMA fans as Belal Muhammad is. And that's sad because Leon Edwards is a top 5 fighter in the welterweight division. So the next question, does he deserve a title shot? Yes, he does deserve a title shot just by his resume. We're not going to count the decision wins. We're not even going to look at that. If you're looking at it on paper, all the W's that he's got, his win streak is long as hell. Yes, he does deserve a title fight on paper. But let's just analyze his chances against Kamaru Usman real quick. So Kamaru Usman has been also trashed upon as being a boring fighter. But if we're looking at Usman, I don't see this being just a boring fight. But I do think if the UFC were going to pop up on the marquee with, oh, look, Edwards versus Usman. Dude, I think it does less numbers than Gilbert Burns versus Kamaru Usman, if I'm honest. Also, I don't think it'll be as exciting. Due to Leon Edwards' low output, the main way against a wrestler, the main path to victory against a wrestler is to have more output than them, essentially. Your offense has to be brave, abrasive, and aggressive. You have to push the pace against the wrestler to beat the wrestler. Leon Edwards doesn't do that, and there hasn't been any sign in his fights that I've watched that he would do something like that. Even if he can defend a few takedowns, he'll just get put up against the clinch. He'll get put up against the cage and bullied. Honestly, he'll get bullied in the fight because I don't see him doing enough on the feet to beat Usman. And I know I sound like I'm really going in on him, and the truth is I do like Leon Edwards. And it is a little sad and a little disappointing to see the UFC do him the way he's done. I mean, he was supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev, who is honestly a win-lose situation for him. If he was to beat Khamzat, even if it was a decision, for him to beat a name like that, because Khamzat had a lot of buzz around him, that would open a lot of people's eyes. That would make people get behind the mini hype train. But if he were to lose, people would just forget about him even more. And though I think he will beat Bilal Muhammad this weekend. If he loses, if this boy somehow messes this up for him, man, the path to a title will be absolutely hard for him. If he loses, if somehow he loses, especially if he gets finished, oh dear Lord. I mean, you're looking at probably another 2 years for him to get his way back to the title. That may be an exaggeration, but I honestly see it. He will have to fight and fight often if he wants to claw his way back up to a title shot, because the UFC won't be generous to him if he loses. They honestly won't be generous to him if he wins, because likely it's going to be another decision. I don't see him finishing Bilal Muhammad. I do see him beating him, but playing that safe style. I see it honestly going like how he beat Cowboy. Just playing it safe and outpointing him. And I see those elbows that he has finding a home a lot in this fight. I see the kicks being utilized very well. I see him putting Bilal Muhammad at distance, though I also see Bilal Muhammad trying to press the action against him. That's the best way for Bilal Muhammad to win. Get in his face, make it ugly, because Leon Edwards thrives at slow-paced, pretty-looking fights because he is extremely talented and he is really hard to beat. The style of Bilal Muhammad. The style of Bilal Muhammad makes Leon Edwards' style really hard to beat if you're looking at those two styles. But, like I said, I do see it being another decision. And if this fight goes to a decision and Leon Edwards win, he will have to fight another person. He will have to fight somebody else. Likely it's going to be Covington. Likely it's going to be Stephen Thompson. But honestly, I do see that fight going down. If shall Leon Edwards win, I see that being kind of like a number one contender, like unification bout. I don't know. Can he beat Wonder Boy? That's a really interesting fight. It's also going to be really boring. But boring fights to me, they're not, I don't frown upon them only because, in the moment, you'd be like, But to me, a fight is a fight. A fight is a fight. If you win that fight, I'll give you your props. Decision or not, I give you your props if you win the fight. But I do, the safe style and Wonder Boy, not really going for it. I think Wonder Boy will beat him, if I'm honest. I think Wonder Boy will beat him. I think that safe style Leon Edwards will try to pull against Wonder Boy. He'll just get outpointed. He'll just get outpointed on the feet because Wonder Boy will strike circles around him if you just let him just do what he wants to do. But the Bilal Muhammad fight, I got Leon Edwards winning by decision. I see him winning by a comfortable decision too. I see him just beating him like he beat Cowboy. I see it going similarly to the way Leon Edwards beat Cowboy. But this has been your boy Trippy again. I honestly can't wait to see it because Leon Edwards hasn't been in the cage for a while, and I'm just excited to see him fight. This is his chance, man. For Leon Edwards to make a name for himself off of this one, he has to do something spectacular. He has to. And sadly, I don't see that happening. But it's been your boy Trippy, and I'm out, man.